Great. So you're live now, and I'm just putting you on mute. I'll share my screen. Then we'll
Okay.
continue. I'll continue on. Taking the session, right?
Okay, sir. Right.
Okay. So let me do that. Okay. So as we were discussing, creating a product, uh, uh, new product. We discussed in the last session about like how you can use the existing product from the catalog and list our product, and we can say sell us our product. Then we can sell, right? But for us, like as we will be doing like business, something like we will be creating our own brand. So for us, it is required that we create a new listing with our all, product ID, all those things, right? All the image details and all content would be ours. Everything is would be ours. So that's what we do from here. Like we click on this create new product listing. And as I was mentioning, like on the last lesson, like office headset was our example and our keyword for the product. And now would say find category. And as I was mentioning, like you will be choosing the niche down category, which could be this wireless cell phone or telephone headset. So this office headset more predominantly this could be the use of this, right? Depending on like whichever the more relevant niche category, that is something you are supposed to choose. So let's say this is the one which is more relevant and more smaller category. So I'll be selecting this. And as I think I had mentioned all these things, like we'll be just putting all the information here for vital information for variations, like yeah, I have also covered that how will you create the variations. And on the offer section you will be specifying your SKU, your seller condition, and the price. And these two also I have explained what is those two. And the images, at least you should have one image with all these specifications. And we were supposed to discuss today this advanced view. When you just click on this, like all these extra tabs are getting opened for you. So what are those things? One is the compliance. So compliance is like if the product is something which has different kind of like, it could be some hazardous product, right? Battery is considered to be one of the hazardous component on your product. So if battery is included on your product, then you are supposed to specify all those things here. So you can say like battery weight, item weight will be specifying on the this one on this box. Then it might be in the lb or ounce or kg or gram. And the battery weight, you are supposed to tell how much would be the battery weight and what is the watt hours per battery, lithium content in grams, and what is the volume. Like uh, I know like you must be knowing what is the volume, right? Volume is basically how much is the cubic thing, cubic dimension, right? That is something we'll be specifying here. And what is the battery composition and all. So all mostly it's all battery related information what we'll be providing here, because battery is considered to be the hazardous one if it is there on your product. And image is something I just mentioned that you will be uh, creating with these specifications. But you have like the primary image, something you should create as per Amazon guideline. But yes, like on this all, definitely you'll be following the guidelines. But at the same time, what I mean, as you know, or I mean, it is pretty much important that you have nice image, because image sells the product. Because your customer may not physically see your product, and they cannot physically touch. Image is the one media through that you can show your product from all the aspect. If your product is a glass product, right, or if it is a some bag, type of bag, or if it is a office headset, as this example, right? So you have to, within your product image, you have to specify all the details that your product, I mean, by seeing your product image, customer can visualize, okay, this is what is included, and this is what is the feature, this is what is a product, I mean, material. So all those things you have to in detail, like with a very nice 3D rendering image, with lifestyle photographs, with tech specs photographs, all those things, I mean, all those kind of images you have to create and upload, because that is pretty much important for the buyers to take the decision. So image sells more. So image has greater importance on your listing. So you have to keep that in mind, that you will need to create beautiful and very nice images for your product listing. So you have here, like, I mean, uh, total of 9 images. Out of nine, first is the your primary image, the main image, which will be displayed when anybody like search for any product. Just going to Amazon.com, and I say office headset, and this is the first image, the main image, which is being uploaded here. And main image is the image, by seeing that your customer takes the decision, right, whether to click or not. So that means your image should be so attractive that the customers are, like, by seeing itself on the first instance, they are taking the decision, or and they are clicking on your product listing. So you have to differentiate yourself in such a way that you are, I mean, you are definitely, your listing is definitely looking really great, and from the image perspective, and they are attracted for your product. So that you have to keep in mind for your main image. And for your rest of image, as I said, like, you will be creating couple of lifestyle images. So what is that lifestyle images? Probably the product is in use, that's one image, and product with model, right, or product placed in a place, like if it is a office headset, probably it is placed in the office table, those kind of listing images. And there would be a couple of like image which you can create as like sorry, the spec image, which would say that the image, I mean, about your product, it will give the specifications in some pointers. So I can show you some examples, like if we go over here. So let's click on this. This is the bestseller. Probably this might have good images. Yeah, see here, right? This says, like, I mean, how this product is different from the product, their competitor product, right, X others. So these are the kind of images which we are supposed to, I mean, I don't say like you will be always thinking on one way. You have to as per your product, you have to think how you can show as the different, I mean, show as unique way to represent your product. So if I click on this next image, you see this is something, it's more of like a spec image. It says that mic on off. Here is the mic button. Here is the volume plus and minus. So by seeing this, your customer knows, okay, this is like the product is something like this. Even though they physically don't touch, they can see like how the product will end product will, when the product is delivered to them, when how they it will look like, right? And what all things they'll get. So that is something you'll have to keep in mind, that you cover up all those things on your image. Here is another example, like I mean, here is another image of this particular listing, and it says like stake reduction sound card. I don't know what, reduce static noise and echo optimize. So basically it's showing how, like if it's showing from, if the audio is coming through this uh, mic, how it is getting like smooth to become good quality of audio, right? That's something it is shown here. So it's your customers, by seeing this, okay, this they'll definitely have an impression that okay, this product does this work, right? So this is how you will, I mean, this is really a nice image what how they have done. So we'll have to definitely be creative while creating the image. It's not that you take, I mean, you create. So you can definitely use the site like fiverr.com, and there is another site called upwork.com. There are many, in fact. There is one more site called 99designs.com, right? But 99 design is really expensive. So if, I mean, but they will really create great quality of product that will definitely, you can definitely uniquely represent your product with their design expert. But yeah, Upworks also will have greater freelancers, greater quality of freelancers who can really be, I mean, really nice. They can create a nice image for you. Like if I say like design here, get started. I think I'll have to sign up. Uh, yeah, so you can find here like, I mean, uh, expert freelancers who can help you like with whatever the uh, price, right? Whatever their fees, with that they can help you. And in Fiverr also there are experts. By seeing their reviews and all, you can take this, I mean, decision whether to buy their gig or not. So I mean, if I say here 3D rendering image for Amazon listing, right? So you may find many gigs here, and maybe you can sort here by best selling or new arrival or relevance. So if I say best selling, definitely they are the good seller, and you can see here like you can go through their profile and go through their pricing and take call like if you can use them or not, right? So this definitely will have to take service from outside if you are not a design expert. Yeah. So you'll be you will yeah, so let me just go here. When you see here, like you see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 images, and rest two here, these two are not, will not be visible at the first instance. Like if the listing is opened for the first time, like this will not be visible. Like if somebody has to really see what is there, then they have to click on the here, click on that last image, or any of the image. then they can see, I mean, you can see all images. But here it is again, yeah, it is 9, right? So they have other two images, which is nothing but this and something else they have, yeah, product news. Okay, and let me go back here. Yeah, so image is something you'll have to definitely uh, take care of. Yeah, and as I was mentioning on the last session, like you'll be filling up your description and bullet points. So you have like options when bullet points are the place at the content, which is nothing but here. These are the bullet points. So you'll have 5 bullet points to fill in, and when you, I mean, you'll have to fill first bullet point, then add more, then add more. So you can go up till 5 numbers. And here is the description, which is nothing but here the lower part of the product list. Yeah, this particular listing is a brand registered seller, and they have this, like, I mean, A plus content, which is something they have got the approval. So that's why they have this area with great quality of images. But for the seller who doesn't have the A plus content approval, their product description will be shown here. Is the content which is shown here, and that is what you will be filling up in this area. That is nothing but the product description. So you see here, like when I mean, when you see this product description, there are uh, text which are on bold and with number and all, right, with bullet points. So that's something, when you write something over here, this product is an office headset. If whatever you write, it will be on the pure text. It will not be shown as like this. So what, I mean, if you have to bold this, or if you have to make this as a heading, then you have to use here HTML tag. So that's something I'll mention a later point, like how will you create that. But let me just, yeah, I mean, let me tell you now itself. So you can use some kind of like converter, which will convert your plain text to HTML tag. So that's something you can use, some method like external method through which you can do that. There is a site called HTML, I think online HTML editor. Yeah. So let's say if I want to make that this one as the text, and I want to use this text here. So this is automatically made as bold. So you see this tag have already come here. So it says strong, and these are the HTML tags. So you copy this, like whatever the content you create over here. Let's say if I just simply copy the whole thing from here, right? And I paste over here, and you have the full HTML, I mean, text along with your HTML tag. So if you want to, I mean, show your product description as like this, then you will have to use this in your product description field. So you have to put this here, and whenever it is saved and shown, whenever anybody sees your listing, it will be shown as like this in the product description area. So that's what you'll be using HTML tag here if you want to beautify your product description. Okay, and in the keyword you will be mentioning your keyword which you have done while doing your product research and product keyword research. You must have selected by now, like while listing product, cluster of keyword, right? Those keywords will be something you're using here. So intended to use the search term are the important keyword here. Like you will be using this box, like you can use up till 5 numbers. So I would say office headset, Bluetooth, office wireless headset. Right? Something like whatever the keyword you have found during your research, right? Those keywords will be using. I'll tell something on our later session, like what is the means, how should you use this search term. Uh, I'll tell that. I will mention that in later sessions. Okay, and this platinum keyword, maybe you can use like platinum keyword. This has more options here, but these five are more important keywords, which helps in product. Finding helps in visibility of your product, right? When your customer search for any keyword, whatever you have mentioned, and that helps the algorithm to get your product fetched and shown. Yeah. So this is what you will be mentioning on keyword section. Then you have this more detail page. On the more detail page, you mention shipping weight, your product weight, your launch date if you want to launch a product. Like let's say if you, I mean, you are a new, you'll be launching your product and you've been in the market for some time and you are launching a new product, right? And you want your existing customer to know that you are bringing up something new with or with some other feature on your existing product. Then you have a date here. You put a future date and you do marketing outside and bring them to your page, so that it creates a kind of like, how to say, a uh, they'll know that okay, this on this date there will be launch. They have impression that okay, they'll be waiting for that, and they on the date of your launch they'll come and buy, right? That will help in that sense. But when you are a new and a beginner, this probably is not something you would be using. Catalog number, uh, I don't think this is something you will be using. Model number you can use as per your this things model. You can say package quantity if you have like any quantity in your package. Release date, maximum aggregate shipping quantity. All this, like, it depends again like what type of product, right? It probably, it might not be, everything might not be applicable for your product, so you may not have to fill everything. So if it is applicable, just go through that and fill all details appropriately. So here the item dimension and package dimension is something you are supposed to fill, because based on that your shipping charge will be, when you are doing through a BM, that this something comes in picture. But if you are doing through a BA, Amazon does for yourself. So you do not have to mention the dimension, because while getting the product into FC, they scan it and they see all the dimension and all thing in detail for your product and they feed in the details. So you may not have to, but yeah, if you know, then definitely. Sometimes what happens, like they may put the wrong dimension. So if you know your dimension, it is always good, and you can say that no, this dimension is not correct, because based on the dimension, the shipping charge will be, shipping fees will be charged. Yeah, country of origin, if you want, like, it's definitely US. You're selling from US. Yeah, if you have any warning or any kind of message to the customers, then yes, this is something you are supposed to. Okay, so this is all about this product listing. When you click on this advanced view, you'll see these extra options, and you fill all those extra options, then say save and finish. So that's all. Like, that's all about this, like how you can create listing. So I'll just unmute you. Now you can go ahead and have all your questions discussed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So thank you for this great session on how to do the listing on Amazon.
Yeah.
I got most of the points which you told me.
Right.
And during the course, during this session and our previous session, based
Mm-hmm.
upon the same listing, I
Right.
had few questions.
Sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, my first question was relating to UPC.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
while you showed the UPC,
Mm-hmm.
so there were some other options along with it, like I
Mm-hmm.
think GTIN or some 3 to 4 options.
Right.
So why do we use only the UPC and not the other alternatives?
Yeah.
And why do we have to buy the UPC? Like what is the main purpose it serves?
Mm-hmm.
And why doesn't Amazon themselves, why they don't provide it? Why do we have to approach third party to take it?
No, Amazon is not the authority, body to provide any kind of barcode, right? So
Okay,
barcode is a trade number. Once it is controlled by commercial trade of country, it's not controlled by Amazon, right?
correct.
So yeah, that, that they do not have any privilege to do so. So that's why, like, these numbers, like global trade item number,
Okay,
and underneath, like, this is something is used predominantly in Europe. It's called as Europe. Let me just quickly. I do not exactly remember that uh, full form of it. Let me just say EN code.
okay,
What is that? It says EN EN. The abbreviation is not expanded here anywhere. I do not see, but it is like used in Europe. This
okay,
code more predominantly, and for US, UPC is something used, and in fact in India also we use UPC code,
okay,
and EN is used in Japan, and I think for Japan you will have this. Yeah, I think they use even EN, and okay, my God. Okay, give me a moment.
yes, sir.
Okay. For yeah, so let for what is this UPC and EN. These are the two code which mostly the sellers use, and UPC code, as I said, like it is used in US. I hope I answer your question, right?
Correct.
So do you have any more question on this?
So UPC, is it that kind of a barcode
It's a
stickering
barcode.
which is
Yes,
used?
it is a barcode and with the
Okay,
number. But we will be for Amazon sellers, as we are not selling our product offline, and
okay,
we do not have to print our barcode on the product. It is just that number which you will be using in the listing.
okay,
Yeah, we will not be using the barcode. But if let's say if you later time in future, if you want to sell your product outside of Amazon offline in any of the store, you require to have that barcode printed on your packaging box, right? So
Correct.
that, yeah, that's something that's how you'll be using uh, UPC code.
Okay. So in order to buy this UPC, you mentioned that basically like there are some websites through which
Right.
we can purchase the UPC. The
Correct.
first one which you mentioned was GS1 US,
Right. GS1 US. Yeah.
and the second option which you mentioned was PD barcodes.
Speedy barcodes. Yeah.
And if I'm not wrong, you mentioned that on GS1 US,
Right.
maybe the UPCs might be expensive, and
It is expensive. Yeah.
yes,
It is
and probably
expensive.
we
Yeah.
might get it cheaper through speedy barcodes. So,
Right.
what is the difference between these two sites, and how do they exactly work based on this pricing of UPC?
How they actually get this barcode, I'm really not very sure. But
Okay.
this barcode is generated. When it is generated, it is, how do I say, it is assigned to one particular entity or assigned to one particular individual, right? Whoever is buying with the name, that name will be printed. They'll be giving you one certificate as well. Like when you
Okay.
buy from GS1 or Speedy barcode, they'll be giving you a certificate with your barcode numbers, right? So that name, whatever name you have given while buying that, that is something assigned to your individual name or the entity.
Okay.
So, later point, let's say if somebody else claims that this barcode is not, this is mine, not yours, then could be challenging. And at the same time, Amazon uh, approves. You can still list your product by buying from Speedy Barcode or eBay or any other alternative source. But if at any point they say that no, this barcode is not the legal code which you have got,
Okay.
then you probably would have challenge at that point. But I'm not saying that you'll have this kind of scenario. Means it does it not it has not happened to many sellers, because many sellers are using this way, like to buy barcode from the cheaper way. But some
Okay.
sellers, like who have the investment, who has the money capacity, they go and but they buy from
Okay.
GS1.
Okay. So, when we are selling one product initially,
Hmm.
so how many UPC are we expected to buy?
For one product, one UPC you'll be using. You'll not be using many, means more than one. But if let's say if you have a variations on your product, five
Okay.
variations, then each variation, as I had mentioned, right, while creating, if you have seen that, like while creating size and color, you had UPC code for each of them, right? Product
Right.
ID for each of them. So that means you need that many number of, as per our example, it was nine. So that means you need nine UPC code. But if your product doesn't have any variations and it is just the one, then you need just one UPC code. But you will probably not get one code to buy. You may get five code to buy. I
Okay.
would say like you buy at least five codes, so that like later point, if you are thinking of, creating any variation on your product, you can like use the code which you have already purchased.
Okay.
Yeah.
So variation, will it mean even in the terms of say color of the product or
Yes.
sizes of
Color,
the product?
size, anything, any variation.
Any
Might
variation?
be, it might be color, it might be size. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And in today's session, you mentioned about the significance of using top class photos
Right,
so that the people will come to know about how good our product is.
right.
And what about videos? Because I have seen many listings, they
Yeah,
have used the
video plays
videos
also
also.
great, great role in your listing. So
Okay,
if you have great quality of video, or like, kind of review, any of our customer has given a review through video,
okay,
that is something definitely would help customers to customers to take a decision to buy your product, right? So
correct,
videos will definitely help, but you may not be able to upload your video, uh, as long as you have reached to a stage, on selling, on Amazon, right?
okay,
So yeah, there are different ways, like you can still upload by paying some third party companies who can do that work for you, but
okay,
you may not be directly able to upload any kind of like videos here, in any of the place here, as per the this example, right? This video is a product video.
correct,
They let me stop it. Yeah, this is the video which they have used to demonstrate their product, right?
right,
So see how nicely they have created this video. And if we can have this kind of image, that really makes the difference, right, in the product.
true,
And definitely we should think of creating videos something like this and upload through the way whatever possible is available for us, right?
okay,
There are ways which I'll disclose later point, and you can upload your videos.
okay.
Okay,
So in between, you mentioned about A plus content.
right.
So what exactly is this A plus content, and when will we be able to use that A plus content?
Yeah, so as like this video, I mean, this is something also, the content which is not allowed for every seller. This it says from the manufacturer, right?
Right.
So this content is not allowed for every seller. So you have to be, first of all, you have to be a brand registered seller.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing is like you have to get that approval to get your content or image published of here as A plus content from Amazon for your listing, right?
Okay.
So that is something like, even like that approval, it is up to them, like whether they would be approving depending on your sales volume and all those things, past history, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you'll have to reach out after your brand registry for A plus content.
Okay. So will we be able to use the A plus content immediately, or do we have to qualify?
You have to qualify. You will not be able to use immediately. You will have to qualify.
Okay. In terms of sales.
Yes, in terms of sales.
Okay. And I have heard a lot about the significance of the buy now button.
Right.
So when will we get the buy now button?
Buy now button is, something pretty much driven by algorithm, Amazon
Okay.
A9 algorithm. So there is no control or no human intervention. Uh, so whatever, like, it cannot be controlled by anybody. So
Okay.
it is just that system controls, and depending on your sale, depending on your listing quality, depending on your reviews, depending on your all the backend details, how you have filled, right? Based
Correct.
on that, you will be getting the buy now box. Like how soon is something like, it depends. But usually, when you are in a BA, most of the time you will get, if you are just the alone seller, most of the time
Okay.
you will be getting the buy now box.
Okay.
But if you are like, I mean, selling, I mean, like if there are multiple sellers on one listing, and everybody are like competing for the buy box, there are there this this algorithm will play a bigger role to take a call and means make somebody as winner of the buy box,
Okay.
right? So yeah, so you will have to uh, keep. I mean, you have to specify all the details as per
Right.
the guidelines. So I mean, if you have done that, that helps the algorithm to make you the winner of the buy box.
Okay.
Make you in the sense, make your listing as the winner,
Okay.
right? So yeah.
So now in today's session, when you were showing about the listing,
Hmm.
so there was one option wherein Amazon was asking the country of origin.
Right, right, yeah.
So there, I think you mentioned that we have to mention US, but isn't country of origin the country from where the goods are manufactured and not where it is sold?
Uh, no, I think you have to say that US, because your product is in Amazon warehouse, and means from where it is getting shipped. I don't think like it doesn't say that it is the country of manufacturing. I don't think you have to mention that as you China.
Okay.
You have to say it is United States.
Okay. So any product which we will sell in Amazon US, so will its country of origin be US?
Uh, yeah, I think, yeah, yes, you have to put as US. Let's say if I give the example, like if you are having a manufacturing unit in India,
Correct.
your real manufacturing in India, and if you export your product from India as the manufacturer, then yes, you will say that I mean, from India.
Okay.
I think it doesn't really matter that much. Like I think you can still say it from China. Yeah, you can
Okay.
still say China. I don't think it will matter that much.
Okay. So will it be shown anywhere in our listing that
It will
from
not be
where?
shown. I mean, no, no, it will not be shown anywhere in the listing that it is from where it is getting shipped.
Okay.
It's not. It will not be shown here.
Okay. Now, when we do the initial listing, as you said,
Hmm.
so it's a first listing, and as you said that we are not mentioning all the details, we are just
Right,
creating the listing, and we are just putting
right,
one photograph. And later on, when we
correct.
bring the actual product, at that time
Hmm.
we are editing the description and making it as relevant as possible. So
Right.
can we edit our listing as many times as we want during our tenure of selling it?
You can like as you are the creator of the listing, and you, as long as you do not have any other seller selling on your listing, you are. I mean, you will be always have that privilege. But
Okay.
when somebody starts selling on your listing, then I mean, as you are the creator, you will be always having. But when they try to hijack and they take the control of your listing, then that time it becomes the problem. You probably would not be able to edit your listing. But let's say you are the alone seller selling on your listing, and you want to modify at any point. Yes, you can go do that. But I would not suggest that you keep on doing major changes on your listing. Major
Okay.
changes when you'll do, like if your product is not selling well, At that point, probably you can think of doing a bigger change. But if, let's say, if your selling is good and numbers are really good, you will not, I would not suggest that you make a bigger change on your listing. You probably try to tweak a little bit and see how the improvement on your sales are coming. If it is good, then you can keep that change and continue further
Okay.
with, I mean, thinking of doing some other enhancement or some other changes on the listing. That's what you can, that's how you can. But don't change in a bigger way by making a lot of changes on your listing, like probably making the change your product description, bullet point, images. Don't change altogether. Change one thing at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after our final listing, if I
Hmm.
come across any discrepancy, or
Hmm.
if I feel that I have to add or delete some words,
Hmm.
so I can do it later on.
You can do it. Yeah, you can do it pretty much.
Okay. Now, you mentioned about the importance of keywords.
Right.
There was a column where we put the search term,
Right.
and there are five columns in which we can put the relevant search terms.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I had seen once in some video
Hmm.
that when we put the important keywords,
Hmm.
some keywords would be not relevant to our product,
Correct.
but it may still be searched. For
Right.
example, the office headset which we are planning to sell on Amazon, it might
Hmm.
not be wireless,
Right. Okay.
but people are also searching for wireless office headset.
Hmm.
So I saw in that video that we still have to use that word wireless
Hmm.
somewhere in the listing, in the
Hmm.
sense that we have to say that this is not wireless, so that wireless word will come and still it will get a relevant keyword.
No, I would. I mean, I would say that you use more relevant keyword rather like using some random keyword. I mean, on your listing, specifically on your bullet point and title, these are the
Okay.
two more important place where you are supposed to place your primary keyword on your title, and on your bullet points. On this section, on your bullet points should be other or low priority keywords on the
Okay.
sequence. So your primary keyword always, I mean the main keyword, your targeted keyword which for which you want to rank, that is the keyword which you should mention on your title. Then the next in the bullet points. Then probably this, I mean description. Sorry, I think the place which is more important, that is here in this place, search term, and then goes your product description.
Okay.
Yeah. So like to answer your question, like you said that people say that like you choose keyword which may not be relevant to your product, but
Right.
there is still like the product, your product is might not be the wireless office headset,
Correct.
right? But people are searching for the wireless headset, right? But
Right.
what is the chance of your product getting sold? Like if somebody is searching with that specific keyword as wireless office headset, then your chance becomes really low, right? Don't you think that? Because like if
Correct.
somebody is so specific and he knows that he wants to buy wireless office headset, why then he will
Correct.
buy your product? And if you are trying to rank for that keyword which is not your product, which is not relevant to your product, then obviously your product will not be sold and you are losing your one of the keyword, right? So it is always
Correct.
better like you choose more relevant keyword on your listing, which wherever it is possible, right?
Correct.
Yeah. The only place I think if you want to choose which is like not, I mean relevant, may not be means it might be little relevant, but it might not be something which is totally irrelevant kind of a keyword. or word, right? So you
Right.
can use close relevant to words, like here in this search term areas, that I'll tell like how you can use that in later session, on any of the later session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, if we are using any third-party service, like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, Fiverr, Upwork,
Mm.
or 99 Designs
Mm.
for getting high quality photos,
Right.
so do we have to send our actual product to them, or how will they
No, you
get the
can
photos
send the
from?
image of your product by, I mean, taking photograph uh, of your product. You can send them. They can, I mean, modify that and cut your product and put onto a different place, and they can do that. That expertise they have. So only thing is that you have keep in mind your product is on plain background. It must not be placed in background where background is not plain. It is with color or with something else, right? So if your
Okay,
product is something white color product, it is preferred that you use your background as black color.
okay,
Why? Because like it becomes easy for the designer to cut that and get your product out from there and place it in a wherever they want, right? However you want the design to be. Just see this
correct,
image. If you see this image might not be like the image how it was taken, right? This is just a cut of the image, one image, and they have like this shadow and all is not the actual image,
correct,
right? They have developed this
true,
through this like design tools, all these design tools like Photoshop, and there are other design tools, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you use any service, third-party service for
Yeah, I
your
use this
photos?
Fiverr. I use this Fiverr
Okay,
to create my design.
okay. And did
You
you
can
send
use,
your product photos to
yeah,
them?
yeah. I sent the product photo. You have to send the product photos, otherwise, how they will do? I mean, you can
Okay,
take your product photo by through your manufacturer
okay,
uh, and take the photograph, couple of nice photographs. Just, I mean, before you uh, purchase the product, right? But before you place the order with them, just
right,
have this agreement saying that I need good quality of photographs to be taken at the end of the manufacturing, right? That way,
correct.
like you have the photographs.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
So
So basically, now these are all the questions I had relating to listing.
yeah,
If I come across any other questions, then I will ask you at a later point.
sure, sure, no issues. Okay, so I think we are right on time today. So
Correct.
I'll just stop the broadcast.